Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Good morning. It is Monday, May 1st, 2023. Here's what's happening today in America. Illegal immigrant murderer, dogfighting in Syria, California banning trucks, and Bud Light getting it now from all sides. You hate to see it. It's all coming up. And then Bill will be here with your message of the day. But first, here's what we know of what happened. Friday night, someone went over to the fence and said to his neighbor, "Hey, would you mind not shooting out in the yard? We have a young baby that's trying to sleep." The suspect, who had been drinking, responded, "I'll do what I want in my front yard." And shortly after, there's doorbell camera video of him entering their house with the gun. And this absolute monster murdered 5 people, execution style, shot them in the head, a 31, 25, 21, 18, and 8-year-old. 5 other people were in the house and not hurt. Authorities believe that 2 women died while using their bodies to shield the children who survived. Fox News has confirmed that this murderer is a Mexican national, has been deported before, maybe 3 times before, and was last encountered by ICE in 2016. Just horrific. U.S. Central Command confirming that Russian pilots tried to dogfight U.S. jets over Syria. It appears that the Russian pilots did not try to shoot the American jets, but they were trying to provoke them. One video shows a Russian fighter within 2,000 feet of a U.S. aircraft, and that's a distance that can be covered in just a few seconds. Classic California, state regulators ban the sale of new diesel big rigs by 2036. So new commercial trucks, this garbage trucks, delivery trucks, any heavy-duty vehicle has to be electric. Unanimous decision by the California Air Resource Board. Now, you can't just roll your eyes at this and say, oh, crazy California. California is the world's 5th largest economy, and California is the biggest market for many of these truck companies. So how California goes, the rest of the nation, unfortunately, has to follow. The Human Rights Campaign, it's a pro-LGBTQ group, sent a letter to Anheuser-Busch saying that their recent sort of apology for sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney went too far. They said in this moment, it's absolutely critical for Anheuser-Busch to stand in solidarity with Dylan and the trans community. So Bud Light's getting it from the right and the left. But my favorite update comes from a bar in Indiana who said that they don't want any bigots in their bar. A few days later, they said, with the departure of some of our regulars, we've needed new clientele and you've answered, but I'm not going to lie, we still need more of you right now. Please consider supporting us. Go woke, go broke. When are you going to figure this out, people? Bill O'Reilly with your message of the day. Next.
The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped 20%, and this year could be worse. You are right to be worried. So please call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They'll show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I have been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD GOLD to 65532. Again, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Monday, a recent report says that Donald Trump will not participate in upcoming presidential debates. And Mr. Trump himself confirmed that on social media. His reasoning is this: all the moderators hate me, the media covering the debates hate me, the other candidates will try to slime me, so why should I do it? And if you think about it, that analysis makes sense, but only if Donald Trump keeps his commanding lead in the Republican polls. There are 2 races, as you know. The primary to get the nomination, and Donald Trump at this point, of course it could change, has a far, far lead on Governor DeSantis for the primary nomination. But then there's the general election against the Democrat. Joe Biden, maybe. I still think that the man is so impaired, they're going to have to pull him, but that's a minority opinion, and I could be wrong. So Trump is putting all his resources and thought at this point into winning the Republican primary. That's why he's trashing DeSantis. And is that a wise strategy? Well, you got to get the nomination to get to the big show. But he says no debates. And remember, in 2016, he skipped the Fox News debate because of Megyn Kelly. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Now let's go to the mail. Richard Schaffer, Montreal, Canada, with the First TV consider Tucker as a talent in their lineup. Look, Tucker Carlson would bring numbers and viewers to any media operation, but he's expensive because he'll make a lot of money on his own if he does a Joe Rogan type podcast, something like that. So, it's about money. Just remember that. Follow the money. Leah Lopez, Lake Worth, Florida. What are your thoughts on the process of interrogating Mayorkas? He's a hapless stooge. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's what he is. He doesn't know what's going on the border, doesn't care. He lives in Georgetown. He's got his private cars. He's got his retinue of bodyguards. He eats out free every night. He doesn't care. Biden White House calling the shots on him. Floyd, concierge member, and we hope you all check that out. Floyd has direct access to me. Hey, Bill, you have stated it is your opinion that James Buchanan was the worst president in our history, with Biden coming in second. The divisional gap between who is worse and who comes in second is closing rapidly. While Buchanan did nothing to stave off the growing conflict between the states, Biden actively nullified most of Trump's policies and is causing problems we are facing today. But the problems we are facing today are intense, nothing like the Civil War, which was the worst thing that ever happened to this country, by far. And if you study the Civil War, Killing Lincoln is the book, first killing book. If you see the carnage that happened there, and Buchanan allowed it, did nothing to stave it off, Biden will never come close, no matter what Biden does, unless he provokes a nuclear war or something. In a moment, something you might not know. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. This protection plan is at an all-time low in price. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. It is the 1st of May. In many parts of the world, they are celebrating May Day, also known as International Workers' Day. Here's a brief history of the Marxist holiday. At the height of the Industrial Revolution, countless men, women, and children died each year from brutal working conditions and long hours. In 1889, an international group of communists in Paris declared May 1st as a day honoring the workers of the world. 134 years later, the holiday is officially celebrated in 66 countries. For example, in Egypt, the president presides over a military parade in Cairo. Workers in South Africa get the day off. In France, it is the only holiday where employees are legally required to stay home. May Day is a really big deal in countries that remain under communist rule. There are just 5 of them: Laos, China, Vietnam, North Korea, and Cuba. The biggest celebration of May Day can be found in Havana. Millions march each year to honor Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. The government doubles food rations for the week. There is not enough food in communist Cuba. Despite the May Day celebrations, the underlying ideology is one of the most destructive in history. During the 20th century, communist revolutions led to the deaths of more than 100 million people. And here's something else you might not know. While May Day was created by global Marxists, the holiday's origins can be found right here in the USA. The date May 1st was chosen to commemorate the so-called Haymarket Affair. In 1886, a bomb exploded during labor protests in Chicago. A subsequent riot killed 8 people. The event sparked the global workers' movement and brought about the first reforms in the Western world, including an 8-hour workday and child protection laws. So May Day is not all bad. But if you have ever been to a communist country, you know you don't want to live there. Back after this.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-687-1936 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-687-1936 now. Again, 800-687-1936. That's 800-687-1936.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.